All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting for Monday, January 29th. Before we get into our regular council agenda, we do have the Fiddleville Nonprofit Housing Corporation Board meeting. So I'll call that meeting to order. Quorum has been established. Are there any conflicts of interest for any members there? Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of our September 11th special board meeting, as well as the October 16th? Those minutes for the API package. Board member Donato, is your seconder for that? For sample. Any discussion on either set of minutes? Okay, all in favor? Security. All right. I just mentioned to Trevor before the meeting started, I think the board has had a chance to review the financial statements that were included in the package. So I will ask for a motion to approve those. Donato, seconded by member Bishardi. Were there any questions for Trevor on any particular items in those statements? Anything of note you wanted to highlight that's out of the ordinary, Trevor?
I would just like to highlight, just so all the board are aware, I list there's on the budget comparison. We list rent and RGI. We list rent, 40% of the building just are regular market tenants. And just for everybody's aware, 60% are rent geared income. So they pay variable income. Some people pay $200 a month. Some people pay $500, and we get that topped up from the Dufferin County. So that's all I want to point out for everybody.
Okay, perfect. All right. Everybody's good? All right, call the question then. All in favor? It's carried. All right, and I'm not sure if Dawn is on yet or not. I don't see her on the screen.
I was texting her 10 minutes ago, but yeah, I haven't heard from her. She must be struggling. So can I carry on?
She's on. Hi, Donna. I think you're muted.
Sorry, I don't have anything to add to the financials.
Okay. Property management report.
We're just gonna update that the snow removal maintenance, we only had the one quote. We are satisfied with the company, but as you note there's a 33% increase, which we're finding in the snow removal industry, and we're happy to have a contractor that's capable and does a solid job for us. So we ratified that with the board's permission.
You've seen similar sorts of increases in your other properties though too?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And then Dawn just updated, there's no new vacancies since the last board report, and they're all rented out, and you know, with a little bit of luck, we will hold no vacancies for a while.
All right, can I have a motion then to approve the property management report? For Vegan, by member Sample. All in favor? That's carried. All right, any new business?
Nope.
No.
Anything from the board?
Just a couple of little things just from our meetings before, just on the work that was intended to be done, like the front entrance way and all that. I haven't been by in a little while, so I'm not sure if we're undergoing that or if quotes coming in or what's happening there.
Yep. So we just got the final approval this week from Dufferin County. Like we were expecting it was imminent. So we will now expedite that work now that we've gotten, they're giving us 50% up front. So we're excited to get started.
So it's based on, right, we're not doing any foundation work, so.
Right, they're actually gonna do some work cutting at the parking lot where the playground is, and they were going to do something at the front entrance. They have some foundation work to do there because of the way the scooters and whatnot have to get up and get into that entrance. So there's some work to be done there. That's why I'm saying that'll be done in the spring, correct, Trevor?
Yeah, obviously we can't start to them, but we'll get more tenders. We'll get another tender or two, you know, another quote, I mean, and hopefully reduce the price a little bit, but you know, at very least we'll be starting in March or April at the latest.
The paving has been done. The asphalt to the entranceways was done.
Okay, I could see that.
And was, any of the cracks in the townhouses or any of the work around the townhouses done? Donna?
To the parging, no, that has not been done.
Okay, so next meeting. What are we looking at,
Probably wait.
Trevor?
Probably May, if that's okay, which will be our AGM,
Okay,
like the second week of May. I'm using my phone, so whatever your council meeting is, second or third week of May, whatever you prefer there.
what dates we have?
May 13th or May 27th.
The auditors,
13th.
because it's tax season, prefer later, so May 27th would be our preferred on their behalf.
Okay. All right. So that's it. Favor? All right, thank you both.
Thank you for accommodating us this way. Appreciate that. Thank you.
See you in May.
Okay, see you in May, bye.
Council meeting to order at 6:37. In with playing the national anthem, so if you're able, I'd ask you to stand and join us. All right, we'd like to begin by respectfully acknowledging the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and the people of the Three Fires Confederacy. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, play, and learn are steeped in rich Indigenous history and traditions. And it is with this statement, we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous peoples with this land, its waterways, and resources. And we do encourage residents to review the call to action information, which can be found on our website. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest for tonight? Okay. I have a motion then to adopt the minutes from our January 8th council meeting, which were included in the agenda. Councilor Wagner, seconded by Councilor Deegan. Discussion on those. Favor. It's carried. Question period. I don't think there's anyone else here. This specifically for question period. Were there any questions submitted beforehand?
There were no questions received.
All right, under presentations, we have two proclamations and then an actual presentation. First proclamation is for Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month is an opportunity to acknowledge and honor the historical and present contributions of Black Canadians and recognizes their significant contributions made to Canada. And whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by Black Canadians to our collective economic, cultural, spiritual, social, and political development. And whereas the town of Shelburne recognizes and values the significant contributions and advances Black Canadians have made and continue to make in Canadian society, and recognize the quest of Black Canadians for equal opportunity and freedom from discrimination in Canada. And whereas the town of Shelburne's establishment, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, will identify ways to eliminate barriers and ensure systemic changes are made to promote quality, equity, and inclusion in our community. Now therefore, I, Mayor Wade Mills, on behalf of council, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as Black History Month in the town of Shelburne, and encourage all residents to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture and continue our efforts to make Shelburne an inclusive community for all. And we're going to be having the Pan-African flag raising 9 a.m. Okay. So if anybody's able to join us at that would be great. Second proclamation is for Nonprofit Appreciation Week. Whereas Nonprofit Appreciation Week is an opportunity to say thank you to a sector that goes above and beyond in supporting vulnerable people and strengthening communities. And whereas the diversity of nonprofit programs, including food security, housing, mental health, support for seniors, child and youth development, sports and recreation, faith, the environment, and arts and culture, immeasurably enhances our quality of life. And whereas there are more than 150 charities and nonprofit organizations serving families and individuals throughout Dufferin County, and whereas the people who work at nonprofits are mission-driven and known for their dedication, compassion, and leadership, now therefore, I, Mayor Wade Mills, on behalf of council, do hereby proclaim February 12th to the 18th as Nonprofit Appreciation Week in Shelburne, and encourage all residents to fulfill their appreciation to the people who work in our community's nonprofit section. All right. So the next presentation is from Jeff McLean, who's requesting some relief from rental fees for Fiddle Park. The amount of the request totals $435.56. At this point, I'll turn it over to Jeff to make a finish.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to thank council for inviting me out tonight as a delegate. It's been a little bit since I was here to present the council. I think about 4 years since the last board lunch. So, and that's what I'm here to pitch for today. So as you folks know, as part of the Shelburne Police Service and now part of the WP, we are heavily involved in the Law Enforcement Torch Run. And under the Law Enforcement Torch Run, we also organize the Polar Plunge Special Olympics, where I believe there's up to 40 across the province this year, and this year I'm happy to bring it back to Shelburne. As in past years, we held it at Fiddle Park under the barn as part of Shelburne Fest. So this year we're looking to bring it back, set up the pool again in the pool barn, and hopefully welcome as many spectators and plungers as we have in the past. In 2020, so right before the pandemic shut down everything, that's our last plunge that we had as part of Shelburne Police Service, where we had 76 plungers and approximately 400 spectators. And we ended up raising approximately $43,000. So this year we've got big expectations for it, but obviously first kick the can since, and first one as well. So what I'm hoping to do is have council waive the rental fees for the park, so then that way every dollar raised goes to the charity special Olympics. One other thing as well that I want to do while I've got on the floor is everybody here knows that I like to throw down a good challenge. And I think pretty well everybody that's sitting on this council as well has participated or at least attended the events. So I want to thank you for that in the past. And I'm going to throw down the gauntlet again this year and challenge council to not only sign up to plunge, but assist in raising funds for this very special charity.
Okay. I know there's a few of us who've taken the plunge.
And it's really cold.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not sure that it's something I want to run to do again, but.
You could show off that.
We won't talk about the dressing rooms.
No, I mean, in all honesty, it was a lot of fun. Yes, it was cool. But you know, it's all for a good cause. Yeah.
Yeah, and over the, I believe it was last one as well, we actually reached out to Shelburne Home Hardware, and gave us pallets, so then that way flooring is lined. And then we actually got a donation of industrial sized heaters, so then that way the tents were actually heated, so it helped a little bit, got it off the ground, got a little bit of heat coming through. And I'm gonna try to reach out to one of our current sponsors, and I can't promise anything, but I'm trying to get a hot tub or something there to kind of, so you come out, you jump in, and
Good idea. Good. One of the things I wanted to mention, and you said it in your remarks, it's the first year that this is going to, officially be organized by WOPB. And thank you for kind of continuing the tradition. I know, obviously the pandemic threw a wrench into many things, this included, but, one of the concerns I think the community had when we transitioned from Shelburne Police to OPB was that community outreach things, events like this would fall by the wayside. And I always believed in the back of my mind that because of the people who were involved, we wouldn't see that, and then we actually would see these things continue, and you're proving that to be the case. So thank you personally for your efforts to do that. So I guess we need a formal motion to approve the waiving of the fees. Councilor Otto.
I'll make a formal motion that we waive the fees for the WOPB Polar Plunge.
In the amount of $435.56.
$435.56.
Okay. Councilor Fegan, looked like you were touching that. Okay. And we'll receive Jeff's presentation as well as part of that.
And part of that.
Okay, sure. All right. Any other thoughts or comments? Yeah.
Dave.
Okay. Anybody else want to commit to,
I'm not letting.
you're on it. You'll be busy.
Electronics and water.
Just a little bit.
It takes 2 seconds to jump in here.
I'm not sure if everybody thought that, but the deputy mayor is committed to taking the plunge and suggested that the mover and seconder of the motion should. I know in the case of the seconder, we can probably count on
I
it.
don't think I missed one even through.
Councilor Bernardo, I think, yeah,
Just from a piece of.
give you a pass, maybe dip a foot.
There you go.
One other thing as well, the police actually brought this company on board where it's basically a blow up mini, almost like the size of a trough or something that you see, where it's meant for cold plunges and all that sort of stuff. So I don't bring it for you.
I may charge.
I appreciate you.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, all in favor? That's carried. Unanimously for what it's worth.
Thank you so much.
Excellent, thanks, Jeff, we'll see you there.
That was the sign up for the plunge unanimous as well.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I remember how cold it is.
The only thing I remember is like halfway across the pool is like we jumped in and we're walking
Yeah.
across, you could feel the muscles just like.
Starting to
heating.
squeeze up, yeah, and then you have to climb out, and I was like, oh gosh, I should lift my leg.
I'm sorry, we won't put the water in it first, say like we did the second year.
Break the ice, yeah.
Mark, the washroom is clear.
Yes.
Yeah, for the chamber.
Will do.
That, important.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Take care.
All right, any council inquiries? No. Okay. All right, on to reports then. So the first report is from our Director of Development and Operations regarding some entrance or entrance signage. Jim.
Through your worship, the town's current entrance signs were installed in 1995 and were refurbished approximately 2010, 2011. They were installed in 3 locations, mainly on the connecting links, so in from the north up to the cemeteries, and by both developments on either end of town, east and west, Highland and Fieldgate developments. High winds have caused structural damage and deterioration over the years, and currently we're down to 1 sign, which is badly weathered on the east end of town. Replacement and expansion of locations of these signs were included in the 2024 budget. Purpose of this report is to ensure council is aware of the new signs proposed. The entrance signs are very functional, cost effective. They're not overly elaborate. They are larger, and they also have diamond grade reflectivity on them, so they'll be very visible at night. These are a cheaper option than some of the entrance signs in other municipalities, which can be 100,000 or more. They will be anchored on steel posts and then concreted in. They are just over 17 feet tall, 10 feet wide, so they'll be very visible. We have picked 5 locations, very close to the original 3 locations. The one on the east end of town will be pushed out a little further to reflect the new development and Andrea Shelter, as well as 2 new locations, one on 124 coming into town, which would be new. There wasn't one there previously. And on Victoria Street to the south to get people coming in that direction. So the quotes for these 5 signs was very good. It was just over $20,000 with HST, plus about $5,000 for a contractor to come in and anchor the signs in concrete. And this was again covered in the 2024 approved budget. So, staff members are working with MTO and Dufferin County for all the approvals necessary, and we would expect those would go in the spring or the summers. The appendices do show the land signs and the locations there, if there's any questions. This does align with council's strategic priorities, SB2, investing critical infrastructure and services for the future.
Okay. Questions? You said that they're reflective, but that's relying on car headlights to show them. The old ones had, or were supposed to have solar lighting on it, to light them up. Would that be of any use at all?
The diamond grade reflectivity is very, does stand out well at night. So all vehicles have to have lights on at night. The previous one, I believe only the one on the east end of town had a solar light to it, which is still there, but it was kind of a makeshift one. So it wasn't planned with these, but that is a possibility in the future if need be. But the diamond grade should take care of that visibilities.
The one on 124 is at the Lakeview subdivision entrance. Should it be maybe a little further north, I suppose?
Tree worship, yeah, that's an approximation. Probably north of Wansboro would be a better location, right in there. Any future development there, the entrance is going to be off Wansboro anyway, so it won't interfere with 124. So it'll be north of Wansboro.
And the one on the west end is right nearby the current subdivision. It's again an approximation. Are you thinking of moving it out to the 4th line? Since we're going to have a subdivision on the north side pretty well into the 4th line.
We were looking at keeping that in the same location since that's just inside our connecting link now. In the future, that could be looked at to move it out if our boundaries do push out.
Well, sounds like we're gonna rip everything back up and move it out anyway if you do that. So my thought process is, we know that at some point we are going to be expanding the boundaries at some point. And we do. Actually, the boundaries look that hard.
Yeah, to be
we love
just-
the lines of town, so why not put the sign out with that?
Through worship on the south side, Amaranth starts a little.
Further in, I know they do.
Yeah, so we
But
if we were
do
gonna
we have to put it on the south, you can't put it on the north?
typically it goes on the lane of traffic that you're in just for visibility. I have seen them very rarely on the other side, but that's usually due to a large curve or something like that that's obstructing on the one side.
I mean, just looking at this thing structurally, I can't imagine it's gonna be awfully difficult to pick up and move if we had to.
Yeah, so just to clarify, we've budgeted right now $5,000 for the installation, it's 1,000 some. Yes, there will be when the OP and the MCR are finalized, which should be hopefully soon. And the waste treatment plant project, and in terms of that expansion is completed and underway when development on that part of the community. I would suggest that when that development is underway or near completion, that we would, in that 5 years, reconsider moving the signs to align with that development. For now, I would suggest that where staff is shown, until that development is underway, and if any changes that we leave it there.
So we still have a problem with that, us for taking it, line and phone.
For your worship, that would be something we'd have to look at. We have new adjustments there too, I would think, so.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit, just put it right as close as you can.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
And then follow on after.
Yeah, the question, sorry, any room on here for, population, or is that would that be assigned below?
Through your worship, there are current population signs out there.
Oh, okay.
They're the only ones really left standing on the two ends of town, so yeah.
Do those get updated through provincial as opposed to municipal?
Yeah,
Is that
they look like an official MTO sign, so it would be through town, but yeah,
Yes, exactly.
I believe it's 8,500 population that's on right now, so
Yeah.
there's a little bit behind it.
Yeah. So yeah, those signs correspond to census and those are the responsibility of the province.
Just a quick one too, what's the lifespan of these signs? I mean, I don't mind going a little bit cheaper, but I do mind if it's only gonna give us 5 years. So are they, decent quality and, it's not vinyl that's gonna peel off or something like that?
Yes, through your worship, the ones we have now, they've got like a laminate cover on them where they have delaminated, and they're still 20 years or so, but these should be around for a good amount of time, 20, 30 years anyways.
Perfect, okay.
I do like the addition of the new ones. I always kind of thought it was odd that we didn't have one coming south on 124s because it is a major sort of entrance point. Victoria Street has become increasingly so I think that's good. And at this price, that's great. So.
We didn't think of putting one as well over on county, what is it, County 11 or whatever, Veterans Way, by the frills there? No, Victoria's, yeah, the one by No Frills. Yeah.
We hadn't looked at that, we were catching people coming in 11, but they'd have to get Victoria, so some people would accept one, but.
Right.
You're gonna go down to that, okay, it's not 144.
It's not.
So sooner or later, you're gonna see those signs.
Yeah.
Side down.
Wow.
Denise just whispered that the philosophy was frugal but functional. But I mean, it's bothered me the last few years, the condition of our entrance signs, and I get that we fell off because of development and everything else, but I'm glad to see that we're at one point to be putting these up because in many ways, this is the first impression that people have driving in. These are nice and clean, modest, sort of, sort of captures the essence of our community, modest.
Yeah, but the one thing that I've seen in many signs that I don't see on this is the establishment. Like the year that Shelburne was created.
Established.
Yeah, and it could fit kind of
It's in there.
underneath, it's underneath the.
Yeah, all I'm just saying is if you go to some of the other municipalities, you see it was created in 1835 or whatever, and that's all I'm saying.
No, that would be nice.
That's not say when Shelburne was established.
We're happy to add that.
It's kind of a difficult date to pin down for Shelburne too, because there's settlement dates, there's corporation dates, but I think go back to the original settlement date.
I think Jelly's day is the day
That's,
Yeah.
I think what we used for the keychains, right, and then you're educating, so we should probably use that one. It's not.
We have to tweak Canada to fit in established, I think with our design.
I think there's enough room in it.
Yeah.
In a little streaky thing.
Yeah.
In the
The
trip.
trough.
In the trip, not a trough, a trip.
That doesn't have to be.
No, just as long as.
ESD period.
Yeah,
Well, we don't want people to stop and taking their pictures under the sign.
no, I don't think anyone would, but At least it tells them how old we are.
Well, of course, it's good for that.
Wow.
Back in the day.
And this will be installed, I'm assuming, spring,
Summer.
springs, that sort of thing.
Spring or summer, depending on, half load season, time of getting out there, soil firming up again, all that.
Just frost will go on it, stuff, perfect. Usually want to see it this year. Well,
Yeah,
it'll be something now, right? It's cold enough.
not much. All right, can I have a motion then to receive and report? By Sample, seconded by Shirley. All in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, next report is from our Economic Development Officer with a 2023 Economic Development Year in Review. Welcome, Carol.
Hello. Okay, so what I did was I basically made a bit of a summary for the report. So, I'm gonna be reading a lot, so bear with me. So the 2023 Economic Development Year in Review provides a snapshot of projects and business supports and initiatives that were provided throughout 2023. The report highlights the continued work regarding the community improvement plan and range of projects implemented to attract more people and businesses to the town of Shelburne. It also aligns with council's strategic priorities under engage, promote effective partnerships, consultation and collaboration with community, under livable, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, improve and enhance parks and recreation services, and promote strong local communities, support and celebrate arts and culture. So the goals of the Shelburne Economic Development are to support local businesses, foster community improvements, enhance tourism development, assist with workforce development, and build relationships with community partners. My presentation today will focus on downtown activation, 6 Fridays in the Park, 2023 job fair, hashtag support burn initiative, FYI businesses letter, 2023 business interviews, grant applications, community garden, and a look ahead to 2024. Start with downtown activation, 6 Fridays in the Park. As part of the community improvement plan strategy to attract more people and businesses to downtown Shelburne, the special event series 6 Fridays in the Park was developed. It consisted of 6 events held at Jack Downing Park from June 16th to September 1st, 2023. The events were free and included a diverse range of live music, children's entertainment, community activities, with the goal of engaging residents and visitors, and thereby raising the profile of our local businesses. The Shelburne BIA contributed to the event by providing $1,500 in funding. And many of the downtown businesses participated by placing posters in their storefront, windows, and 8 local businesses provided special offers during the event. The outcomes. The events were well received by the community. We attracted between 160 and 400 people. 83% rated the event's overall experience as either good or fantastic, and 79% said they would return in 2024. On Saturday, October 14th, we added an addition to the 6 Fridays in the Park at Grace Brooklyn Hall. We offered a free concert featuring Boomerang. This also was part of activating downtown. Boomerang provided classic R&B, soul, and music, and the band played to approximately 160 people. It could be stated that at that event, we asked how many people actually had been in Grace Brooklyn Hall prior to that event, and it was surprising that very few people actually had. The vast majority had never actually been at the hall. We also attracted quite a few people from outside of Shelburne to that event. So 2023 job fair. So the job fair, this year, 2023, we had been on hiatus since COVID. So we returned back to Center Dublin Recreation Complex. We had 33 local businesses who participated in the job fair, and we had over 300 participants. The outcomes, 85% of the business survey said they would return. 92% of the participants were very satisfied with the event. So that's what the results that we had an exit survey. The Support the Burn Initiative, so this program was developed, during COVID in 2019. It's a marketing initiative that basically offers free marketing to the local businesses. And the free marketing comes in the form of radio spots, social media posts, and billboards. There's no cost to the local businesses. All the design work is done by staff. Or some of the local businesses also do their own. So this won the 2020 marketing award. Because essentially during COVID, there was a lot of activity happening around trying to support local businesses, and it was considered a unique, offering. Program's goals were to increase the visibility of Shelburne businesses, encouraging residents to invest locally and build local connections. The outcomes, in 2023, we had 36 businesses participate in the Support the Burn Initiative, which is about an 80% increase over 2022. There were 84,000 views or impressions on Facebook and Instagram, and 4,000, almost 5,000 views or impressions on Twitter. There were 70,527 unique visitors who saw the promotions on Facebook and Instagram. X received views from approximately 20% of the town's followers. Program received 906 likes, 1,098 engagements, and 7 comments. Next, let me talk a little bit about the FYI newsletter. So the business newsletter that has existed since 2016. We have almost 300 subscribers to the newsletter, and we have a really good open rate at about 57% on average. And this is to compare that EDCO, which is a fairly large organization, their open rate is about 36%. So when you see 57, it's more than half of people actually reading the newsletter. So the newsletter's goal is to provide general industry information and keep local businesses up to date on current events and news. 2023-24 business issues. Currently, we are gathering feedback from local businesses through the business survey and also in-person interviews. The information is kind of like a mini BRE, which is a business retention and expansion program that is run by OMAFRA. So the questions that we're asking basically is where they are now, where they plan to go in the future. It's helpful, especially if there's any succession planning required, but it also helps us develop future plans for how we want to support our local businesses. And it also helps us track trends in the business community and also support the development of partners. To date, we have completed 38 online surveys and 12 in-person interviews. 2023 grant applications, last year we applied for 5 applications for funding, which would have, had we been successful, would have been about $340,000 in funding. We applied to FedDev, which is economic development, as a diversification screening. That was for accessibility, the Rural Economic Development Program, which is RED, and we did a Grow Garden grant for Scott's Miracle, and also a capital grant for Grace Sibley Hall's Training Foundation. Community garden. The Shepherd's Food Bank was expanded to the equivalent of 5 6 standard size beds. Beds were donated by the town to support the food bank's ability to provide fresh produce for residents experiencing food insecurity in our community. In addition, we also collaborated with Center Dufferin Recreation or Center Dufferin High School, construction and architects students to design, to build and install lockers for the gardeners. That was actually well received. The gardeners are very happy to split their shovels, all the things that they carry. So a look ahead to 2024. We're going to continue with the activation of Jack Downing Park. This year, we're hoping to have 5 events. And events will be very similar to last year, different artists. Again, we're hoping to attract families, youth. We want a wide range of age groups. We're also going to be doing the job fair again, which is going to be held on April 18th at Center Dufferin. And Support the Burn Initiative will again be happening, but it won't happen until probably before Christmas of this year. And we will be partnering again with Country 105 FM. And the business interviews will continue until throughout 2024. So additional collaborations, we're working with Workforce Planning Board. We're hoping to offer the businesses educational opportunities and hopefully develop a mentoring program for some of the local businesses. One of the ideas that Workforce Planning Board is actually floating right now is having having a professional, they actually go into the businesses and then they critique them, talk about their storefronts, talk how they can better merchandise their product. So those are the sort of things that we're hoping to offer to the local businesses. Orange Economic Development, we're always looking for networking opportunities through SPEC, and they will continue in the town of Shelburne. And Dufferin Economic, we're working on the economic development. We're working on tourism currently, and also hopefully we'll be partnering with them on some programming through Jack Downing Park. And Southern County Tourism, we're looking at funding support predominantly from several counties. And again, the 2024 golf tournament is the Shelburne.
Question, Carol? The one comment that I would make to the Fridays in the park, certainly from any of the feedback I received, I think that was something that was certainly welcomed in the community. The one concern I had initially, what the reaction to closing the streets on a Friday afternoon would be, but that never really seemed to come up as a concern. I saw a couple of people, some road rage, for the first day of it, but by and large, I mean, I think everybody had a great time, and it was neat to see that event grow over time. Like I think the first couple, nobody was quite sure what was going on. There was lots of chatter, and then certainly by the campfire poles, there was a huge crowd out, and everybody who was there had a great time. Some of the comments that I heard was, it was nice to have something in our downtown core where the community can get together in a casual way and visit and get some cheap free entertainment and place you can take your kids. So.
That's not what Carol did, it's in her report, but what was very successful and she's gonna build on this year was the partnerships with the local businesses. So couponing.
Yeah.
So for example, if you attended the event and we know that a couple of the businesses more hospitality based did very well when it got later in the program, where people were getting used to going to that establishment pre or post the event, incentivizing them with a discount was even more exciting for some people. So the whole purpose of this under the banner of activating downtown is also in addition to supporting the community by providing them with entertainment and arts and culture, it is actually to support the businesses. We're happy that the VIA is supporting us and partnering, but when we evaluate this and then we also activate various different calls to a very extent, we're hoping to provide the evidence that the businesses are benefiting from that massing of people, because that's why we're doing this. We wouldn't do this at Jack Downing Park if it wasn't for the downtown business. We could do this at Turtle Park, for example, or any park, but that really is the purpose, and closing the street is fundamental for that pedestrian safety.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if we could close Main Street, we know that's not really realistic, but ideally, what you used to do as a town with a street festival would create that pedestrian gateway, and all the businesses could then have food and beverage on the street, but we know that that's not realistic, so William has proven to be very effective.
Well, I think it's a good setup. Just in the back of my mind, I was expecting to receive some complaints about that. Busy Friday afternoons in the summer, what are you doing closing the street? But as I say, I didn't hear a single complaint about that, and to the contrary, all the comments I had about those events were awesome.
You can only turn right any place off that street.
Exactly.
Just a reminder, folks.
Yeah.
But the other positive thing about being in town and on with this traffic is we've got quite a few people who stopped as they were going. So that was also nice to see.
Yeah, looking at some of the numbers there, I mean, the majority were from, our community or surrounding area, but there were, an impressive number of people
Yeah.
from outside and all ages, which is nice to see, and that was the kind of thing I was hearing, it was the sort of event that I could take my whole family to, didn't cost
Yeah.
anything.
I think there were people as far as Fisher.
Yeah, Amaranth, Renton, Dundalk, Aaron, Wells, Kitchen.
And anecdotally, I was, for the concert that we had here, I was part of the door greeting team. And I would ask, so have you been here before? And it was amazing how many people the answer was no. There were quite a few people that indicated that they had seen this band at the jazz festival, I think that was the event in Saga Beach. Not that they're groupies, but they came specifically for the band only. What also was nice to see is that people that had never been here took the opportunity to view the art that had to be on display at that time. Would remind us how impressed they were with our humble theater, and they hope to return, which was fantastic.
Good work, by the way, it turned out really well. I just have one comment, and that's just the safety side of pedestrians crossing a crosswalk. There was a lot of attention, people not paying attention to the lights going on, so if we get it bigger and bigger and bigger, we have to put something there. Tell us those things going there, 'cause watched it. We're busy, so, but if it gets busier and busier, it's one of those things that may happen, so
We're going shopping there.
it is.
That's not.
I comment, I would make it, we get busy enough, we can make it on Saturdays as well.
There you go.
2 days, that's.
Fridays are, I think it's, initially I thought, ooh, Friday, but I think people tend to travel away on Saturday or Sunday, so Friday night gave them something to do after work. Right, they got home, they're like, okay, let's go, go downtown. And so I think it actually worked out really well to be Friday, it
Yeah.
really did.
And the survey, there's respondents, majority of them, there were very few people that actually said, I think there were 3. And it's been it was on Saturday.
Yeah.
So. I think
Saturday,
that-
Saturday afternoon, so. Not much going on, people don't shop in the morning, they're in town, sleeping out on Saturday afternoon. So if they're lucky enough that it keeps growing, maybe a Saturday afternoon here and there, could be pub day as well. That's all I'm thinking.
Anything else for Carol? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I have a motion then to receive the report. Wagner,
That was me.
CAO Morrissey. So I have my turn to be sure, all in favor, it's good. All right, next report is from our treasurer with a water financial plan.
Thank you. And
The
through
exciting
there,
part of the agenda.
right? Yes. I know you've been waiting for this.
Bated breath.
So this is the last phase of the water and wastewater rate study. Is a requirement in order to meet the Ontario regulations and the requirements under the Safe Drinking Water Act. We have to provide a financial plan, which is derived from the information that was collected and adopted by council in the rate study. So one of the things that Watson has outlined in their report is this is similar to our cash-based budget and our accrual-based budget. Whereas the water rate study is your cash-based budget, what we need to collect from the ratepayers to operate on a daily basis. And then this is your financial plan, which includes amortization, all the requirements under, public sector accounting board. So once this is approved, then we have to send it off to the ministry, we have to advertise it on our website. Boxes are checked and we're good.
Any questions? It's kind of a long motion. The first two parts, just receiving the report, approving the water financial plan prepared by Watson and Associates dated January 17th. The notice of availability of the financial plan be advertised on the town's website, and financial plan and the water and wastewater rate study dated September 25th. Underpinning the financial plan be submitted to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the council resolution approving the financial plan be submitted to the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation, Parks, satisfying the requirements of the safe water drinking, or safe drinking water. Yeah, safe drinking water. As a mover and seconder for that, Councilor Donato, and second, Councilor Beacon. All in favor? It's carried. All right, next is a request from the library, which is an annual request. I believe it might have been a few years from COVID, but we didn't receive this. Basically, they're just looking for us to waive the rental fees for Grace Sibling Hall so that they can run their March break programming. And I guess the total request would equal $595.06. Auto. Discussion. Is memo to council just advising us that Councilor Sample has to step away from his appointment on the Parks and Rec Task Force. So I think we're just receiving that as information tonight. What I was thinking, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but can we wait till the next meeting before we fill that? Give everybody some time to think about it, or would you prefer tonight?
You can fill it or you can leave it as is because the terms of reference say up to, so you can leave it with one if that, whatever council chooses to do that.
Okay, well, why don't we just leave it open for now? If anybody has interest in filling that extra seat, let us know at the next meeting and then we can deal with it, or at any time, I guess, going forward. Okay. Can I just have a motion then to receive the memo? Beacon, seconded by Councilor Donato. All in favor? Three. All right, next is a bylaw, which is rescinding a section of bylaw number 30-2007. And Alice, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this relates back to Councilor Fegan's motion from
This was,
late
this was from November 2023, that it was charging, outside businesses from the town of Shelburne, a $100 special permit fee for events. That the Canada Day Committee is also charging $100 regardless of where, so it was just removing that section. It was also related to Street Festival, which is no longer an event.
Okay, so this will cover any event?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So then if a vendor fee needed to be charged, it would need to be chosen by council or by the committee that's holding the event to charge that fee. There wouldn't be a bylaw saying you have to.
You have to. Yep. Okay. Councilor Donato?
My concern is for people who come door to door still, you want to get those, try to sell you things at door to door. To be honest, or you get the ice cream guy who runs up and down the street without a license. Those types of people, are they still, is there still a bylaw covering events?
Yeah, this is just for special events.
This is just a special event.
This is just for special events.
I feel I'm talking. And then letting anybody and everybody come in down from their, paying and interrupting our local business.
So, and Councilor Beacon, just refresh my memory too, so the candidate committee charges $100 for any vendor? Okay, and this was requiring a double up for anybody out of town.
Correct.
So if somebody who didn't live in Shelburne had to pay $200 to show up as a vendor. Yeah, okay, and I mean, we already discussed this, I know, and kind of agreed in principle, but this just formalized it. So can I have a motion then, for, reading and enacting bylaw number 05-2024, which is the bylaw to rescind a section of bylaw number 30-2007. Mr. Beacon, second by Councilor Bouchardy, all in favor? Carried. All right, any notices of motion? To communications, I have a few. Councilor Donato, go ahead. You probably have the same, probably. Or at least some.
Number 11 and number 4, because they both relate to each other, and it's regarding the social and economic prosperity.
Yeah, number 11 was the one I was going to ask to repost. So that has the draft resolution from AMO.
Yeah.
And I was going to let Denise speak to that since she is an AMO board member.
Thank you. Through the mayor. AMO has requested that an analysis be undertaken connecting prosperity and that new policy positions be provided. That the last one that such research was done has been years ago, and there's such I guess inequities and gaps with respect to housing and social equity with respect to the unhoused, that the issues, and particularly as it relates to, say, food banks and people's ability to support themselves, is more than just a food insecurity issue, it's an income equity issue. So there needs to be recognition of the gap, that there are so many services within the province of Ontario that, unlike our counter municipal colleagues in other provinces, are not funded at the upper tier level. So this research and this analysis hopefully will address those inequities, to acknowledge that a lot of the funding that municipalities are supporting is not sustainable, whether it's hospitals, whether it's housing, whether it's infrastructure. There needs to be a repurposing of how those funding mechanisms are distributed to ensure our viability. That really is the essence of it. And there's been analysis and statements from AMO in particular. If you look at the alignments of where the infrastructure is, it is predominantly at the municipal level, but we are getting, I think, less than 10 cents on every dollar with respect to the income that's collected. So that really is the heart of it. Most municipalities are considering this because the strength on behalf of municipalities is having that voice consolidated so that AMO can bring forward a cohesive strategy with respect to influencing the province in order to undertake this analysis.
So do we need a motion of support for the study of?
Yeah, so on page 333 of our agenda, AMO is providing a draft resolution.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on going through all of the whereas recitals. I mean, basically, I think Denise captured the gist of it, but the actual resolution is urging the province to commit to undertaking with AMO a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote the stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario.
Which is the bottom line.
Okay, so we'll, Alice, just, I guess for the purpose of the minutes, we'll just replicate the draft resolution from AMO.
And I'll just add that the town of Shelburne requests the,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, therefore be it resolved, kind of Shelburne and urge the province of Ontario or something like that.
Sure.
And I'd like to call for a protocol so that the province understands that it is for council's.
Okay, so that's moved by Donato, seconded by Arceo. Councilor Began. Okay, and any discussion on it before I call the vote? Okay, and recorded vote has been requested by Councilor Donato.
Councillor Bernardo,
Yeah.
Councillor Fegan,
Yeah.
Councillor Bichetti,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Hall,
Yes.
Councillor Sample,
Yes.
Councillor Wagner,
Yes.
Mayor Mills.
Yes.
The vote passes.
That will send a strong message up to the province, at least at this point. We want something.
I had number 12 hold, and I've actually prepared a resolution, which is a bit lengthy. But anyway, so this is the news release regarding some infrastructure funding. So at AMO or at Roma last week, I listened to the Premier speak and Minister Surma, Minister of Infrastructure. And one of the messages that became clear to me was that yes, there's going to be some infrastructure funding available. But in the Premier's remarks, the message seemed to be clear that the bulk of those funds are going to only be available to those municipalities which have growth targets. So there's a $1.2 billion building faster fund. And what the Premier suggested was that 10% of that, 120 million, would be available for smaller communities that don't have targets. The lion's share, 1.08 billion, is still going to be reserved for those communities with targets. So sort of in talking with staff, I crafted a resolution. As I say, it's a bit lengthy. Bear with me, I'll read it out and then I'll try to summarize it clearly. Where the town of Shelburne supports the province's initiative to address the housing crisis by increasing the supply of available housing and is committed to assisting the province reach its housing targets. And whereas there are a number of active development applications and plans in process, including plans for new seniors rental housing, a new retirement home project, several other subdivision and intensification projects, and development of the Shelburne West secondary plan, all of which could be completed rapidly within 5 to 7 years. And whereas the timing of these development projects is impacted by the current lack of servicing capacity and is dependent upon available funding for critical infrastructure, including capacity upgrades to the town's wastewater pollution control plan. And whereas the town of Shelburne's ability to fund these upgrades and other critical infrastructure projects is impacted by the legislative changes introduced by Bill 23. And whereas the town of Shelburne continues to subscribe to the philosophy that growth should pay for growth and is not willing to fund growth-related infrastructure on the backs of its existing ratepayers. And whereas Premier Ford announced at the Rural Ontario Municipal Association conference on January 22nd that 10% of the Building Faster Fund, or 120 million, would be reserved for small, rural, and northern municipalities that have not been assigned housing targets, while the remaining 90% of that fund would still only be available for municipalities with assigned housing targets. And whereas there are other Ontario municipalities that have been assigned housing targets of 1,000 to 2,000 homes over 10 years, which are eligible for that larger portion of the BFF fund, and whereas Shelburne could, with adequate provincial funding to upgrade infrastructure, accommodate the addition of 2,000 homes over 10 years. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Shelburne requests the province to assign a housing target of 1,800 homes over 10 years to the town of Shelburne and provide eligibility for the town to immediately apply for the larger BFF funding through the required application process. And that the town of Shelburne request a meeting with the Minister of Infrastructure, Kinga Surma, and the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Paul Calandra, as soon as possible. So I'll ask for a seconder for that first, and then I'll make a few additional comments. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Hall. Thank you. So, as I said, there's a lot in there, but the gist of it is, I think this council has been clear, from pretty much day one of this term, that look, we've shown over the past number of years that our community has the capacity to grow and grow in a sensible way. And we're open to additional growth if we're able to provide the infrastructure that's necessary to service that growth. What we're not prepared to do, however, is fund all of that needed infrastructure ourselves, or as I said, on the backs of the existing ratepayers who live here. So the message that I think we need to convey to the province is, yes, we're prepared to grow if you're prepared to help us finance these infrastructure servicing upgrades that we need. And it only seems sensible for us at this point if 90% of that major fund is going to be made exclusively available to communities with housing targets, to take a look at the realistic development applications we have on the books and say, we can do this. That there's absolutely no problem doing this if you guys provide the funding. So give us that target and open the checkbook. That's the gist of it. Otherwise, without that target, we're gonna be fighting alongside every other small town in Ontario for some share of $120 million over 3 years, which isn't gonna come anywhere close to what it's gonna take to fund that project. So if they want a target, give us a target. We'll need it. And I can almost guarantee, and we made this message clear to the Minister of Infrastructure at AMO last year, we can meet those growth targets probably faster than a lot of larger centers. We have the development there waiting. It's just a matter of providing the servicing.
Well, and it's not the first time we discussed the topic. It's just the perfect timing for us to.
Fair too, considering we've already built substantially. And, now it's like you should build more and, you've already built so much and yet we got nothing. So, yeah.
We should point out to them as well as we bid on once, that's the story.
Yeah.
That won't be enough. They're effective.
Exactly, yeah, that's what.
We can do it, and every subdivision we've taken on doesn't take 10 years to fill out, fill out within 1 to 3 years. We have subdivisions going out and putting in, almost 1,000 people at a time. We've grown from in 22 years, we've grown from 3,500 to basically almost 10,000. So if the province wants housing and wants people to be able to have housing, this is one of those communities, because of its location, because of where we are, that will continue to grow and continue to provide for people. We are close to every large metropolitan area. We have the road systems that allow people to go to work. So support, look beyond big cities.
Well, and that's just it too, right? It's the fact that we have been growing and they're not acknowledging the towns that have already had it. Right? So like if they keep saying, well, targets now moving forward, and it's like, well, what about us? Who there was no initiatives for us and yet we grew and we grew quickly. So that's where there's this, middle ground that there's nothing for us.
They cannot see beyond the Oakvilles, Burlingtons, the Hamiltons, the Torontos, the bigger centers. Yes, they look at Barrie, but it's still, I think that's the most far on the table.
I think the minister understood that, because I mentioned that the housing crisis is not going to be solved exclusively in communities of 50,000 plus. Like there's a big role to play for small and mid-sized communities.
Yeah.
And to your point, we have a track record. So it's not as though they're gambling on a community that hasn't experienced growth. We know how to do it. But again, I think the key is, we're only willing to grow more if they're willing to provide the funding, right?
Yeah.
Either through the developers or through the province or a combination of both. But, for them to expect still a relatively small community to foot the bill of providing all of that infrastructure, for future growth, in my mind, is just not starting. So I agree. You want us to grow, we're prepared to grow, show us the money, we'll we'll get the servicing in the ground. So, do you think there's any value in having this as a recorded vote, or just to send that message?
Sure.
Sure.
I know, I was gonna say the same thing.
All right, let's do it.
Counselor Bernado,
Yes.
Counselor Fegan,
Yes.
Counselor Krishardi,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hall,
Yes.
Counselor Sample,
Yes.
Counselor Wagner,
Yes.
Mayor Mills.
Yes.
Unanimous, yes.
All right. Well. See, yeah. Okay, and the only other one from correspondence I was going to pull, number 14, which was resolution from Tweed regarding the license plate renewal fees. So essentially what they're urging is that the province go back to the old way of doing the license plate renewal fees and making sure that that money gets directed to infrastructure.
Yeah.
That I.
Say that.
Yeah, it's all paid.
Probably, if the province gets that money, they have to see it.
And they're already talking about closing down a bunch of license offices anyways, like kiosks and stables, manufacturers and all that stuff, so, yeah.
I don't know how far.
You're gonna go in kiosks now, Walmart, get or if you wanna renew your license, I'll be there, so I don't. I like doing it online.
Yeah, there was a news article today about plates being duplicated and manufactured and people getting, 407 charges on.
Oh,
The vehicle was
not
not
really wrong market ticket.
Yeah.
There's a lady got about 4 or 5 phone parking tickets up to $500 on false plates.
It's never driven into Toronto.
And there was a draw.
oh my gosh. This is crazy.
Are these false plates? They're.
Plastic plates.
Yeah, it's not illegal to get a duplicate, like a custom made plate for your vehicle. You can get anything made, it's just when you display it, so.
They're
glass, yeah.
You can get it made, you can hang them on a wall, like in your garage if you want. That's what they're made for. But people can put them on cars if you look realistic enough. And right now, they're getting smart enough that they're even getting the same color car as the owner of the plate. So when it goes down to 407, because of the camera, it looks like the owner going down, they're not, because 407 is going through the camera things and it's giving back money to the people that have been charged falsely, but it takes time to get your money back. And it's pretty expensive when you drive from Hamilton to Whitby, back and forth.
Yeah. it sounds like-
7 days a
What
week.
you're saying is no ignore the 407 bills.
Pay attention.
All right, no, I thought I'd raise that to see what you thought, but
Well, what about number 13 for the carbon tax?
Yep.
So my thought here is we all obviously need to reduce our carbon footprint, but I'm not sure how strongly I feel that a tax does that. And as the motion states from Sarnia, most, there's 2/3 of Canadians that are $200 away from not being able to pay all their bills, right? They're living paycheck to paycheck. So, I don't know, we've discussed tonight a lot with regards to, unhoused and, the cost of things. And, I just feel that potentially, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if they'll scrap it, but I don't think it should triple by 2030. That's a lot to me to ask for our Canadian citizens. So,
I'm supposed to be very big trouble. We do get money back because there was some sent by the feds in January.
don't think it's even close. No, I don't, there's no way what I get back is what I put in. It's a lot of money. on groceries, gas, you know.
Those are supposed to be the
Yeah, you think about the carbon tax in general, right? What it is supposed to sort of be taxed on, it filters through, it filters down. So you have a trucker who's bringing your food to the grocery store, right? And you have to pay for the gas in that truck, and the carbon tax is quite substantial on gas, right? So your groceries are gonna go up.
I know what you're saying, but my main concern is we have, when I was young, where it was a hell of a lot different than it is today. And it's getting worse, as far as I'm concerned, it's getting warmer. The summers and the winters are a lot different, and I don't wanna be any future generations worse off than what we currently are. So either there's gotta be some methodology to make people smarter or smart enough and realize that what we're doing is we're destroying ourselves. And we're destroying not just this generation, my generation, I'm getting towards the end of my time, but the future generations that will be here, your children, your great grandchildren, and, you know, they're the ones that will pay the price of what's going on today if we don't change our attitude and our methods.
Yes,
And
that's
tax,
here to climate change, not carbon tax.
no, but carbon taxing is there to help us climate change supposedly. If you think about it.
Supposedly,
I don't think this is an issue we're gonna resolve. But, yeah. Do you wanna make a motion?
I can make a motion just to support, you know, sort of the city of Sarnia with their resolution. If nobody else wants to, that's fine, but it's,
Okay,
Please do, right?
And yeah, that's fine. Is there a seconder for that? Okay, seconded by Councillor Sample. I'm not going to support it. I think this is probably going to be a hot button issue in the federal election campaign. And my thought is, we have enough to deal with at the municipal level, but, you know, let's leave the issue of a carbon tax up to those who are paid much better than us. And represent us at the federal level to hash that out, and I guess the winning side will win the day. But yeah.
And I'm supporting because I think this is very wide thing. It's not strictly even out of the small, it's about the agree, it's a federal level issue. And problems by problems, because there are some provinces that also disagree with it, and that's full. So it will get hashed out at the federal election, and we as citizens have our vote at that point in time. That bigger motion, if you want to put it that way, and that's where all of these are.
Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
and I tried.
Well, you get a kick at the can. You will get a kick at the can, think about it.
All right, anything else in communications? Okay, I have a motion then just to receive the remaining items for information. Example, seconded by Councilor Shirley. All in favor? Carried, no closed session. I have a motion for the confirming bylaw. Councilor Donato, seconded by Councilor Wagner. Sure.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried, and a motion adjourned. Mayor Hall, seconded by Councilor Donato, all in favor? Carried.